Asking yourself the question oftentimes is the easy part. Answering the questions can be the challenging part, especially if you're coming up with 25 things each. But really commit to this. Sit down, answer these questions, because you never know. This could be the exercise that changes your life.
And so, education and equal opportunity. So what breaks my heart is people who want to do better but don't have the opportunity. And what pisses me off is people who have the opportunity but squander it. People who have everything given to them, but they take it for granted.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode, number 893, Making It Easy for Your Clients is Key, as I turn a key here if you're watching us on YouTube. Today, for episode number 894, 5 questions to ask yourself to find your thing. It is Strategy Saturday, and Alan had this idea, so I will let him lead the dance.
Strategy Saturday are my favorites. They are my favorites. I'm a strategist, Kev. So I'm going to take you back in time. So it was, I believe, circa 2017. No, so the Hyperconscious podcast was born, and I was the very first guest on the Hyperconscious podcast. And Kevin had me on, and then he had me on again for episode 3. And I remember being at his place in New Hampshire. It was 11 a.m., I think. And he asked me, Alan, you talk a lot about your purpose. You talk a lot about your mission. You talk a lot about your calling. What is that? What does that even mean? How does someone find their purpose? How does someone find their calling?
Can I just add a little context, Alan?
Yeah, please.
It was 11 o'clock in the morning, and I had a double-sized Red Bull for Alan, and I was drinking Guinness at 11 o'clock in the morning.
That is true.
I was
Things
really
have
leaning
changed a little
into this podcast thing.
For sure. So my answer was something referred to as the Eulerian destiny, and I went through these questions. But before we get to the 5 questions to ask yourself to find your thing, I want to give a little bit more context as well. So many of you know my story, but if you are a new listener, I'll tell you it briefly. So when I was 26 years old, I got in a really terrible car accident. So I was in New Hampshire, and it was that really bad winter where the snowbanks were covering the signs. I was supposed to yield, and I didn't. I didn't see the yield sign. I ended up on the wrong side of the road, and there was the brightest lights I'd ever seen in front of me, 10 feet in front of me when I looked up. And I thought it was a Mack truck. Fortunately, it was a lift-kitted pickup truck, and I was driving what I used to refer to as a steel trap of a car, a German-engineered, really heavy car, 2004 Volkswagen Passat. And for those of you who don't know, my father passed away in a car accident when he was 28. I was 26 at the time, and this absolutely rattled me. And so when I give my speeches or when I talk on podcasts, I often tell this story where physically I was okay, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, I was completely shaken. And I was contemplating and questioning everything. And so my answer for Kevin, when he asked me, what is your purpose? What is your calling? What is your mission? How do you even find that? It really comes down to the center, the true north of these 5 questions. And so when I go on podcasts, I say this simple quote of, you can't see the stars during the day. They're always there, but sometimes it takes the darkness to see clearly that which you simply could not within the light. When we succeed, we celebrate. When we fail, we contemplate. So I did a lot of contemplation. So these are the 5 questions to contemplate if you're out there and you're wondering, what is my calling? What is my mission? What is my purpose? So, and that's also why I wear this true north around my neck. So picture a star in the center of this Venn diagram, a Venn diagram with 5 circles. And the center is the star where all of these intersect. So if you're not driving and you want to do this, we actually have a link in the show notes to download a digital asset, and it's called the North Star question, or True North question, I believe. So these are the 5 questions. Number 1, what breaks your heart most? What injustice in the world breaks your heart? 2, what pisses you off most? What injustice in the world pisses you off? For me, for example, seeing someone get bullied or picked on always bothered me so much, partially because I was bullied and picked on when I was younger too. Number 3, what are you unreasonably good at? Don't be modest when you answer this question. And again, I want you to do a brain dump on a piece of paper for each of these. Try to write at least 25 things under each. You're going to end up with 125 line items, and you're going to be able to connect some serious dots of like, oh, here's what I'm unbelievable at. Here's the injustice in the world that breaks my heart. Here's what the injustice in the world that pisses me off, which is probably similar. And then the 4th question, what do you love to do most, even when it's difficult, even when it's hard? Fifth question. What does this world desperately need more of? Kevin and I are here right now in this moment, and we have a deep belief that the world desperately needs more personal development, more self-improvement, more holistic self-improvement, more fulfilled people, healthy, wealthy, and in love human beings. That's why we do what we do. That's our mission. That's our calling. And so for you, those are the 5 questions. Again, number 1, what breaks your heart most? What injustice in the world breaks your heart most? Number 2, what pisses you off most? What injustice in the world pisses you off? It's okay. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be mad at evil and injustice. Number 3, what are you unreasonably good at? These are the things that you're so good at, these things that they actually kind of make people insecure. That's how good you are at these things. Number 4, what do you love most even when it's difficult? Podcasting could be one of those for Kevin and I. Mm-hmm. Speaking could be another one. Number 5, what does this world desperately need? Do a brain dump on a piece of paper of all of those 5 things. 25, try to force yourself, stretch yourself to 25, and then you'll have 125 things to contemplate, and you will see where these overlap. And where these overlap, I believe, is where your calling really does live.
And with number 3, if you're trying to figure out what you're very, very, very good at, it might benefit you to ask somebody that you have to trust this person. Obviously, if you ask somebody, they might throw you under the bus, but don't be afraid to ask somebody, hey, what is something I'm really, really good at that either I don't recognize or you've seen or you admire? Don't forget to phone a friend when it comes to this. So I'll never forget, Alan, I've told you this story before. I was up in Maine with some friends, and we were lying outside on the dock looking up at the stars, and there may have been a little marijuana use at the time. And I remember looking up at the stars and saying, have you ever thought what would happen if gravity just decided to take a day off? We'd end up out there somewhere. And everybody basically laughed at me. They're like, no, I've never thought of that. That's like a dumb thing to think of. And I was like, well, you're missing out because there's a lot of really cool thoughts when you think of stuff like that. It's not a coincidence, probably, that I had a podcast called the Hyper-Conscious Podcast, the Acutely Aware Podcast, the opposite of unconscious podcast, where my goal was to dig deep and have deep conversations with real people. It's not a coincidence. So the number 6 one that I wanted to add, and I heard this in a book somewhere, I wish I could give it credit. I don't remember what it was, but the number 6 bonus, what is something that you're passionate about that you wish more people were? In that moment, I wished everybody wanted to talk about deep stuff with me. I wish that we could talk about stuff that doesn't have to make sense logically. I think about stuff like that all the time. I think about deep stuff that might seem stupid to other people, but that's why I talk about the things I do, because I wanted to talk about that, and I wish that more people were passionate about it like I was. And that question has probably shaped my life just as much, if not more, than all those other ones, because I think we all have this inner part of us that says, maybe it's, well, why aren't other people doing this yet? Or if only somebody else was doing this, I could do it too. And it's like, well, what if there just aren't enough people that are passionate about it yet, and you have to lead the charge? I think that's a wonderful, powerful question for you to ask yourself. And again, asking yourself the question oftentimes is the easy part. Answering the questions can be the challenging part, especially if you're coming up with 25 things each. But really commit to this. Sit down, answer these questions, because you never know. This could be the exercise that changes your life. I know Alan has taken many clients through this. I know this has helped me tremendously as well. So really take it seriously, because you can get some serious results with it.
And if you want to start small and not do 25, just do 5 under each or 3 under each. So 3 under each would be 15. 5 under each would be 25. And if you include Kevin's question, obviously more. Kev, I'll never forget when you and I were in Florida and we were watching, I think, Gladiator, eating food, and we were like cooked because it was a long day. And you turned to me and you're like, have you ever wondered how you like kind of just like get on a plane and you've never met this person and they like fly you across the country? How weird that is. You just like randomly.
You don't know what they're going through. Like, they could be going through a divorce, or they could be going through so many different things. Like, you have no idea. Nobody ever asks about it. You don't even get to see the person. I mean, how weird is that? You don't even get to see them until the end of the flight. And then you're like, hey, thank you for getting us here.
Yeah,
it's strange.
Right? It's wild.
It's weird. It's weird.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy. I am part of the NLU team, and I just want to talk quickly about my experience at Your World Within Live and Top Notch Live. There were 2 events that Alan and Kevin both co-hosted. I remember being so nervous going to each one of them because I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't sure what was going to be happening or the people that I was going to meet. But I remember coming away from both of them with a sense of accomplishing something that I didn't think that I was going to accomplish. I was able to go outside of my comfort zone, talk to people that I wouldn't normally talk to, and do a testimonial, which was so nerve-wracking during those 2 times. But I'm super excited for this event because it's going to be incredible. We have incredible speakers, and I'm excited for you to learn more about yourself and for you to get outside your comfort zone.
Real quick before we go, to give context to our listeners, Kev, I was hoping we could answer them quickly with at least one under each. So I already did that, and we'll put you on the spot and do it as well. So what breaks your heart most? I wrote people without opportunity. So that's one of the reasons why we want to provide an educational platform for anyone in the world completely free, because there are some people who didn't have the opportunities that I had growing up. I got financial aid. Fortunately, I had scholarships, and I was given some opportunities and went to some of the best schools. And so, education and equal opportunity. So what breaks my heart is people who want to do better but don't have the opportunity. And what pisses me off is people who have the opportunity but squander it. People who have everything given to them, but they take it for granted. They have the opportunity to go to the best schools, but yet they don't even try. And so those are some answers for me. What do you got, Kev?
What breaks my heart? I think it's when people get taken advantage of. That's always hurt me deeply, and I think that's where the protector in me is. And I've always wanted to help people that were getting taken advantage of and stand up for people who couldn't stand up for themselves. That's always been part of why I do what I do. What were the other questions? I should probably know them.
What pisses you off most? I got you.
That's what pisses me off most.
Yeah.
When people take advantage of other people.
Yeah. And we help people, just so everyone's aware, we're living in our calling. We're helping people not be taken advantage of.
Yes.
We're helping people with opportunities. We're helping people maximize their potential and not be entitled and not squander those opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So number 3, what are you unreasonably good at? Let's not be modest. Let's just tell the truth. What do you think you're really, really good at? I
think I'm good at speaking and inspiring people to think in a different way. I really do. And I also think I'm really, really good at being real when it comes to this stuff. I always try to just be real and authentic, and some stuff I don't know. Listen to the Stephen Kotler interview. You'll realize very quickly that I took the back seat and said, this is not where I'm going to shine. But a Kenny Florian episode, I've studied martial arts for however many years. So yeah, that I would say that.
Fire. Also consistency as well.
I appreciate
you as well. For me, self-discipline, I think intellectually, mathematics for sure, and understanding equations and formulas and frameworks, definitely, and pattern recognition. Okay, and by the way, if that one's really hard for you, check in on the self-love thing. You're so quick to look at what you're not good at, but yet you can't answer anything you're good at. I think that's a mirror as well. Number 4, what do you love to do most, even when it's hard? Working out for sure.
Yeah, same. That, podcasting, speaking.
Same.
Traveling. I hate traveling, but for some reason I love it, even though it sucks.
Strong work.
Yeah, something about it.
There you go. For me, maximizing my potential. The unreasonably good at too. I wrote this down. Coaching. I didn't realize this always, but I've always been coaching, even when I was helping people, achieve their dreams, even back when I didn't know that I was coaching them. Number 5, what does this world desperately need from your perspective, Kev?
Self-improvement and egoless self-improvement. Now, does that mean Alan and I never have egos? No, that doesn't mean that. But our goal is always to be aware and mitigate them as much as possible, especially when we're trying to help other people. I don't want to give you advice laced with ego because it's just not going to help you the same way as the truth would. So I would say that.
Yeah, I put more fulfilled people, but yeah, really people trying to maximize their potential and greatest level of contribution and improve the quality of their life. And I think the world desperately needs more fulfilled human beings who are living in their purpose. And even in this moment, think about that. Kevin and I are in that. We're in that calling. We're on that mission. We're living in our purpose every day. And so even though it's hard, it does fulfill us. And I think fulfillment is is the guidepost. If you have regret, it's probably because you're living outside of alignment. If you are fulfilled, I think you're in alignment with your highest calling, and hopefully this will give you some clarity on that.
And then last, number 6, what is something that you're passionate about that you wish more people were, Alan?
Improving themselves, maximizing their potential, for sure. Yeah, I wish, to be honest, it's almost to a point where I can't believe it when I notice someone who isn't. It's like, why would you're leaving so much on the table. You could be so much. You could do so much. You could have so much. You know what else breaks my heart is people who don't believe in themselves. You know, people who have low self-worth because they've been conditioned to believe they aren't capable. Definitely stuff like that. Yeah. Go ahead.
I would say something I'm passionate about that I wish more people were, being authentic, really just telling. And again, I struggle when it comes to candor and having open, difficult conversations. But I mean, when somebody says, hey, what did you do to succeed? I don't think a lot of people tell the truth. And that's something I always want to do. And I think not taking shortcuts. I'm passionate about not taking shortcuts. And I think that if more people were, there'd be a lot. I mean, the world would be a different place. But that a lot of that, and that, think about it, this is where it all connects. A lot of people don't know that they're being sold shortcuts that don't actually work. And if their awareness was higher, then they'd see right through that, which is why we're trying to do what we're doing. So you can see where that intersects and overlaps right there. So,
one last thing before we go, Kev, for anyone out there watching or listening, think about how aligned everything Kevin and I just said is.
Yeah.
See, it's not a coincidence that we're business partners. We're on the same mission and we have the same calling. Even before we knew it, on some level we knew it because we were passionate about the same things. You can't do 900 episodes if you're not passionate about the same things and have the same core values of character over everything. So, but this isn't about us. This is about you. Download the digital asset. Do this work. This is not a quick fix. You're not going to find your calling by listening just to a show. You've got to go do the deep contemplation, and you've got to write these things down, and you've got to try to connect the dots on your own. So download the asset.
And you got to come to our event, March 26th, 2022 in Worcester, Mass. We're only having 50 people. We already sold more than half the tickets. And honestly, it's just one of those things that Alan and I are super passionate about because we've been to other events, and some of these events have blown us out of the water. The other events have just been like, this is underwhelming. And our goal is to always add value. That is one of our core beliefs, our core values, our core aspirations, is to add value to your life. So I can guarantee you that this event will be wonderful, it will be valuable, and it will change your life in some way, shape, or form. Will you leave this event knowing everything you want to do with your life? No, probably not. Will you leave this event knowing more than you did when you came? Absolutely, that I can guarantee. Tickets are only $97. Everything you need to know is in the show notes below. Or if you have any questions, you can reach out to Alan and myself. We will answer anything you need to know.
Absolutely. And before we go, Group 6 is starting on April 19th. So we will not be opening another group for an additional 3 months. So Group 5's on fire. They have their last session coming up, I believe, or last 2 sessions. Yeah, they have 2 more sessions, I believe. And the point of group coaching is to make you feel less alone. If you're in lonely land, if you're breaking the promises you make to yourself, if you're not consistent, if you know you're capable of more but just need some accountability and support, that's why we created group coaching. It has been unreasonably successful, and we're so grateful. And it's a very polished product at this point. You're going to be in a WhatsApp group talking each day with other individuals, listeners that are listening to the show, that are passionate about what you're passionate about, and that are all trying to get to the next level. If you have friends and family members that think you're crazy because you're into self-improvement or you're into growth or you have crazy goals and dreams, Kevin and I, at the beginning of our journey, when we left our corporate jobs and we left our 6-figure salaries, we were told we were crazy too. But guess who was crazy? The people who didn't believe in us. And so same is true for you. Get around people who believe in you. That out of all the stuff we teach, if you don't get around people who believe in you and believe in possibilities and believe in potential and believe in dreams and goals, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. So don't miss your chance. Please join Group 6. You will not regret it. And if you want any more details, we can send you the Instagram handle of people who have actually graduated from group coaching, and they can tell you their exact experience. You can ask them questions. Go to the website, nextleveluniverse.com, click group coaching, and the link is in the show notes as well.
Also, moment of gratitude for all of you in Next Level Nation. We have just crossed 500,000 listens, and that is a wonderful mark that most podcasts don't ever get to, and you are the reason why. As much, Alan and I can't go listen to the episodes 500,000 times between the two of us, so we would not be able to do it without you. We're grateful for this community. We are building something fantastic, something amazing, but that also reflects you if you're watching or listening. You are the community, and if we're building a quality community, it's because you're a quality human being focused on getting even better. So eternally grateful for you out there if you're watching or listening to this. At NLU, we do not have fans, we have family. Thank you all so very much, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
Please reach out.
Bye.